All right, let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? You try to get an AI to handle some massive, complicated task with one single giant prompt, hoping for the best. But as we're about to see, there's a much smarter way to get the results you're actually looking for.
I mean, imagine asking an AI to plan an entire corporate event in one shot. We're talking venue, catering, speakers, the schedule, the whole shebang. You're expecting this perfect, ready-to-go plan to just pop out. But what really happens? You get a total mess. A chaotic jumble of half-baked ideas, mismatched details, and stuff that's just plain wrong. The AI gets overwhelmed, and that is the exact problem that a technique called prompt chaining is designed to fix. So here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with what prompt chaining actually is. Then we'll dig into why it's such a game changer. After that, we'll see it in action with some real-world examples, cover the best ways to make it work for you, and wrap up by looking at the big picture, how you can start orchestrating your own AI.
Okay, first things first. The absolute best way to think about prompt chaining is to picture an assembly line, but instead of building a car, you're building a result with your AI. So, instead of one giant, overwhelming task, you create a series of small, focused prompts. The AI completes the first step, and its output, whatever it creates, automatically becomes the starting point, the input for the very next step, and so on and so on. It's a simple, logical, sequential process.
This really visualizes that assembly line idea perfectly. You'd never ask one person to build an entire car from scratch all at once. It just wouldn't work. You have specialized stations, one for the engine, one for the paint job, another for the wheels. Each step is distinct, and it builds on the last one. Prompt chaining applies that exact same logic to AI tasks.
Here's a real-world example from IBM. Now, trying to do all of this in one prompt would be a recipe for disaster. But by chaining it, each step is crystal clear. First, translate the text. Done. Second, extract just the key facts from that new English text. And third, translate only those key facts back into Spanish. This methodical, step-by-step approach just slashes the number of errors.
So why is this so critical? Well, it's all about turning AI from a sometimes unpredictable creative partner into a reliable, methodical tool. And that's especially important in a business setting.
You get 4 huge benefits here. 1, it makes ridiculously complex tasks totally manageable. 2, forcing the AI to focus on one small thing at a time dramatically improves the quality and accuracy of the final result. 3, it gives you transparency. You can actually see the AI's thinking at each stage. And finally, it puts you back in the driver's seat with so much more control and flexibility. You know, one of the biggest challenges with AI in any professional environment is the black box problem. You put a query in, you get an answer out, but you have absolutely no idea how the AI got to that conclusion. And that makes it really hard to trust, especially when the stakes are high. And this is where prompt chaining completely changes the game. Each step creates its own output, a little breadcrumb and a trail. You can follow the logic from start to finish, which makes the entire workflow transparent, easy to audit, and most importantly, trustworthy. You can pinpoint exactly where something went right, or maybe more importantly, where it went wrong.
Okay, enough theory. Let's look at how this is actually being used in the real world. The applications are incredibly diverse and, honestly, super practical.
Think about customer support. A single prompt like "handle this email" is a total gamble, but a chain creates a system. The AI classifies the ticket. Is it billing or technical? Then it pulls the right customer data. After that, it checks the company knowledge base for the official policy, and only then does it draft a response. The result is support that's faster, way more consistent, and much more accurate.
Or what about analyzing a massive 100-page report? That's often impossible for an AI to do in one go because of context limits. With chaining, though, one prompt can pull out key points, a second can stitch them into an executive summary, and a third can generate recommendations. It makes an impossible task completely manageable.
In finance, accuracy is everything. This workflow shows how chaining creates its own built-in quality control. The AI extracts the data, then it verifies it, then it checks for compliance. Catching an error at step 2 prevents a huge problem later on. It's a crucial safety net. And hey, even creative work benefits from this structure. Instead of just asking for a finished article, you can guide the AI through the actual writing process, brainstorming titles, then outlining, then writing, and finally refining. This almost always leads to much more focused and well-structured content.
For developers, this is a really powerful pattern. You can have the AI plan the logic, write the code based on that plan, generate tests to check for bugs, and then create the documentation. It's just so much more reliable than just saying, write me a program.
Seeing the power of this is one thing, but how do you actually build an effective chain? It definitely requires some thoughtful design. So let's walk through the key principles.
First, break your big goal down into clear, distinct subtasks. Second, write really concise, focused prompts for each one of those steps. Third, make sure important context gets passed from one step to the next. You can use variables to carry key information forward. Fourth, and this is critical, insert validation checks. Have one step check the work of a previous step to catch errors early. And fifth, be ready to iterate. Your first try won't be perfect. You have to monitor your chain and tweak your prompts over time to get the best results.
So what's the big picture here? Well, when you master prompt chaining, you're not just giving commands anymore. You're orchestrating a complex workflow. You're conducting it.
This is such a great way to put it. Each prompt is like an instrument, playing its specific part. And as the conductor, you bring them together in the right sequence to create this complex symphony, a result that no single instrument could ever achieve on its own.
So the key takeaway is simple. Prompt chaining transforms AI from a fascinating but sometimes unreliable tool into a disciplined, dependable engine. It is the bridge from raw AI potential to real-world business value.
And that leaves us with a final question for you to think about. Look at your own daily work, the long reports you write, the multi-step processes you manage. What's the one complex task that you could break down and turn into your very first AI assembly line? The possibilities, once you start thinking this way, are pretty much endless.